Your depression, anxiety, stress is your fault. It is your fault. You made it. You created it. I sound like a bit of a psychopath there, don't I? I sound like a bit of a nut job. But yes, your depression, your anxiety, your stress is your fault. You made it. It could not have been made anywhere else if you think about it. It can't be made external to your brain. Okay. However, before you report me to the cancellation police, let me add one extra thing, and it's very important. Although all of these issues in the brain, or particularly with the usage of the brain, are internally generated, that does not mean it's your fault. It's not your fault and it's not intentional. It's not your fault and it's not intentional. So, hopefully that was a shocking enough beginning to get your attention, because this is a very important topic. And, well, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. But please stay with me. If you suffer from depression, anxiety, stress, you're a high achieving person and these things are affecting you and they're actually just limiting your life, or even frankly if you're not a particularly high achieving person, for this video just stay with me, because this is very, 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 very helpful. What the so-called mental health profession knows about mental health could be written on the back of a fag packet, right? How many people do you know who've been to a psychotherapist and who've actually got better in a reasonable time frame? Effing zero, yeah? Nobody, yeah? How many people do you know who've been to seek psychiatric treatment and have got better? Zero. It's the most failed profession on earth. If medical doctors fail to this extent, if architects fail to this extent, these houses will be collapsing around me. Okay, it is a profession of total failure, utter and total failure in terms of getting people well adjusted. Okay, and yet there are many people who get better from depression, stress, anxiety. There are many people who do. There are many people who do, but in most cases they use methods outside the so-called medical profession, which is, if you look at the studies, they're an actual joke, right? I'll just name one and then we'll get on with a solution, because I'm going to bring you a solution here. There's a published study that shows going for a walk in nature for half an hour a day has the same effects as most antidepressant drugs. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. And people who've been in therapy and so on and so forth, there is some utility to therapy, particularly in terms of making sense of your situation. There's a certain utility there, but it doesn't get people better, and they know it. The therapists know it. Okay, but this is a methodology they've been taught. It's ineffective, but they just think that's the best they've got. Now let me move on to what is the actual solution. What is the actual solution? The actual solution is internal, because your depression, anxiety, stress are all generated internally in your brain. They're not generated, by this metal post here or by the sky. Yeah, the sky, it's great, right? It's not. I'm in Bosnia right now. Don't ask me why, but I'm in Bosnia right now. I've been in Bosnia for the last 5 weeks. It's grey every single day. Do I get SAD, seasonal affective disorder? I used to very badly when I was in the UK. I used to, right? Because I didn't know how to use my brain. I was basically, I was at the whim of my patterns, which ran and put me into a state of, I put myself basically into a state of negativity and depression. And it was not intentional at all. It was not intentional. Now I use a tool, which I won't describe in this video, but I have a very specific visualization, full body visualization tool, which incorporates self-coaching, which incorporates a deep embodied physical visualization. Okay, it's not just an image in my mind, there's a physical process going on, there's movement going on. And I use this tool every day, and I'm able to handle, bad weather for weeks on end or something like that. I don't get sad anymore. I don't get it. What's different? Is the weather different here in Bosnia than it is in the UK? If you've never been, it's exactly the same. The difference is my ability to use my own mind and take control of my own physiology and influence it very, very substantially with a specific tool. I'll give you one more example of this. I was speaking to a friend last night. I travel a lot. I do a lot of adventure missions, I call them. And my friend, he's an older guy. He's in his 70s now, and he lives in Thailand. I speak to him. He's kind of a mentor and just a good friend. Last year when I was in Brazil, I went out for a month to do some language learning. And after about 3 days in, I had my phone stolen. I lost access to all my bank accounts because of that. And so I basically had no communications and no money. In a city, I knew absolutely nobody apart from my landlady. And using this tool, I was able to stay completely calm through the whole process. Eventually I sorted things out. I didn't actually get any money. I ended up staying for 2 months and didn't get any money at all, really, access to my accounts for another 3 to 4 weeks. It took a really long time. It was a complex process. And my friend said to me, he said he was stunned how calm and collected I was able to maintain through that process. He was completely stunned by it. Because I spoke to him quite a few times during that process, and he said if it was him, he'd been losing his mind, he'd be bouncing off the walls. Okay. How was I able to do it? Am I cut from a different cloth? I would love to think that I am, but the reality is I'm not. The reason I was able to be completely calm, and I would say a fairly stressful situation for most, well, it is a fairly stressful situation. You got no money, you're in a country where you know nobody, it's all gone very wrong, basically. And yeah, I was thinking, I wonder how I'm going to eat in 2 days' time. This could be an issue for me, right? But I was able to maintain my equilibrium, and it's because of the tool that I use. And I've had situations in the past where, for example, with quite a severe physical injury, of course it causes mental distress as well. But eventually, once I discovered this tool, I was able to essentially reorientate my mind very effectively. So the answers are basically within us. The answers are within us. But the issue is people don't have the key to unlock their own physiology and their own state of mind. This is the biggest problem people have. This is my biggest advantage in life. Okay, this training I did, it took. I'm not going to go down through how I got to this point, but it's a very, very different place to be. So hopefully this has been useful to anybody listening to it or to seeing this. This is my first video on this channel. This is really about state mastery, emotional mastery, because the more I go through the world, the more I feel like I've got almost an unfair advantage, and I actually want to share this with other people because I think it's something that could help. Imagine being able to influence your own state to an incredibly wonderful level, regardless of your surroundings, regardless of your day-to-day conditions, the weather, what's going on in your bank account, what's going on with friends and family. Of course, these things have an impact, but we can always realign in our equilibrium. Imagine being able to do that. Okay? Imagine the calm and serenity and confidence you would feel. You can just handle whatever. You can handle a rainy day in Bosnia, no problem. So I will leave things there. Hopefully this has been stimulating. I'll be very interested to know if anyone has any comments. These videos are designed to be provocative, but please understand I'm not criticizing you and having a go at you or anything like this, because I understand exactly what's going on with these conditions is the wrong word, but what's going on in the brain when these processes are running. So I understand it, and I understand it's certainly not pleasant. So yeah, this is a kind of a compassionate note to end on. There's no blame in this at all, none at all. But I talk firmly and strongly and dynamically in order to make the point.